I was listening to a radio interview recently, and the guest said, of the billions of people in the world, very few are ever written into the history books. I have to be honest, I had just turned into the program, and so I can't speak to the context of the conversation, but it made me think, what an odd way to look at society, both in a macro and micro scale. I began to search for people you've never heard of that changed the world. It's a beautiful rabbit hole to dive into, in all honesty. Some are familiar, such as Rosa Parks or Mahatma Gandhi, but then there were people I had never heard of that truly have changed the world as we know it. I'm going to pronounce a few names, I hope correctly. Niels Bohlin, who has saved millions of lives with his 3-point safety belt, or what we refer to as commonly as the seatbelt. Henry Dunnett, who founded the Red Cross. Grace Hopper, the first woman to earn a PhD in mathematics and later developed one of the very first computer programming languages. And Maurice Hilleman, who developed more than 40 vaccines to eradicate such things as the measles and the mumps, hepatitis A and B, overachiever, meningitis, pneumonia, rubella, just to name the few. The guy apparently never slept. And for that, I applaud. There are thousands and thousands of people who have left the world better than when they found it. And for the most part, fame or recognition wasn't what they sought, but simply a better tomorrow, not only for themselves, but for their friends and family and everyone else around them. I call these people life changers. I'd like to bring this idea of life changers a little closer to home. Those people that have left their mark on your life, that have empowered the trajectory of your aspirations, those fingerprints that will forever be a marker, either emotionally, spiritually, or personally. I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. I lost my dad yesterday. I realize we each have to pass certain bridges on the road to adulting, but some bridges are much more difficult to cross than others. And while there's a physical void in my life that will never be changed, there is a permanent treasure trove of memories, lessons, and reminders I will forever be able to pull from. He was a furniture designer for just shy of 50 years, so being under the wing of a creative my entire life, I was obviously influenced in my pursuit as an artist. Some lessons he shared intentionally, with purpose. Others I just learned by watching him. But needless to say, a major part of who I am today is because of him, my dad. You probably won't find him in the history books, and he never received a phone call from a sitting president, at least to my knowledge. And no, he didn't have a street named after him, but to me, he mattered. He was a life changer. And it was because of he and my mom that I found my seat at the piano. From that seat, I've gone on to create music that many of you have reached out and said, "You're helping me through the most difficult time of my life right now." So, in a way, my dad learning his trade from his dad eventually found its way to my helping some of you through some very difficult seasons in life. Some of you have reached out saying, "Hey, I shared a particular episode with a friend, and I wanted to let you know how much it helped them get through an anxious moment." Your sharing something that touched you will now affect the life of another, who will perhaps pass it along to another, and then another, and then another. I say all of this in essence to show you something incredibly beautiful. But first, I want to take a moment. Let's recenter, because we're going to get a little deep today. if you're able to, let's close your eyes. Let's quiet the mind just for a bit. Taking a long, deep breath in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Slow, deep breath out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would like to ask, who is the first person that comes to mind that has made a difference in your life? Who is that person? And the difference could be intentional or not. Could be someone that believed in you when no one else did. Or maybe someone that sewed into you because, well, they love you. Or they may not have even realized it at the time. It could have been completely in passing. But someone that left a mark that you've never forgotten. Who is that one person who mattered to you? I want you to just sit and think on them just for a moment. What is it about that one person that made the difference? What's the resounding thing about them? I have to be honest, I think it's because they were just being themselves. It wasn't a trait that they picked up or that they needed to be someone that they weren't. They had a gift, and that was their nature to share, whatever that gift may be. To you, they were the difference you needed, exactly at the moment you needed most. They were who you needed them to be. But in full transparency, they were just being themselves. Now, I want to go even a little bit deeper here. It may be uncomfortable for some of you, but this is where growth begins. With your eyes still closed, I'd like for you to imagine you're in front of a mirror. No one else in the room, just you, seeing your reflection in a mirror. The person you see, guess what? They matter. You matter. You are the difference in someone else's life. And as you saw earlier, how easily a simple gesture spiderwebs not only to a friend, but continues for some, even to generations. You matter. And you will probably never know the lives you will change. You matter. And whether it's the agonizingly laborious pangs of homeschooling a first grader, or simply complimenting the clerk's color of hair at the checkout line, you create a rippling effect just by being you. Your influence is their inspiration. Your laughter is their lifeline. Your sacrifice is their sanctuary. If there is one thing I really hope you take from this episode, I hope you understand the relevance, the impact, the footprint you have on the lives of others. How comparing yourself to someone else removes you from being the life changer that they need from you. You matter. You are the difference that someone else hasn't found anywhere else, but in the person reflected in your mirror. May you be forever written in the history books of each person, one by one, by one, because those books are the only ones that matter. It's a silly quote by Christine Todd Whitman, but perfectly to the point. Anyone who thinks that they are too small to make a difference has never tried to fall asleep with a mosquito in the room. Oh, the lives you will change, the dreams you will inspire, the paths you will create, all just by being the one thing you were put here to be. You. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, hear the musical playlist from today's episode, or simply wanting to know where to send chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. You'll even find additional resources for emotional support, including our online community and our Facebook page. You're not alone. You are not alone. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized Sweet Tooth. And now something my attorney wants me to say. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and is not intended to, nor should they serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you, and you should only act upon the advice of such physician. Now, what I like to say. I am an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this and future podcasts in aiding those needs. To find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And finally, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of emotional health. I'm Chad Lawson, and until next time, be kind to your mind, and join me next week as we calm it down.